Okay, so we all just come in the back door, so I'm just going to show you a few little things here at the back door as you come in. I just have a welcome to our home sign, and actually got that at the Dollar Tree many years ago, and a couple of produce bags, which I don't have any produce in those right now because we are getting ready for a home renovation, and I hardly have any food actually. I do have a copper piece up here. I love the copper and the brass combination. This piece I thrifted and I love it so much. And then as you walk in, we have my antique country farmhouse table. I don't know what else to say about this thing other than I absolutely love it. I got this at an estate sale. I got the chairs, I think a Facebook Marketplace find. And what I did here on the kitchen table is I just mixed a mixture of things that are retail and things that are thrifted. If you have any questions where something might be from, just ask me down in the comments. Like if you want to know if it's retail, I will let you know. A lot of these things I've done like videos on, so you could probably go back and find some of that information there as well. But also, I don't mind answering any additional questions down in the comment section. But I love this big centerpiece here that I made. I think this just makes a statement as soon as you walk in the door. And then I have some beautiful just candles here. These are the battery operated candles that I got from Target. And let me just tell y'all, when I showed these in that Target haul video, y'all went to looking for these. Like I had so many questions and comments and emails about these candles in particular. That is wild. So if you want some of these are so beautiful. You cannot see them as well right now because I do have the big light on just so that I can show y'all, you know, all the things. But I will turn the big lights off here in just a minute and kind of show you what this looks like in the evening. Yeah, this is just an example of how I use retail and thrifted pieces together. Work off a remote and a timer. I love them. They come from Target. These came from Hobby Lobby. This is thrifted. The little candle snuffer is thrifted. Do I really need that right here with these faux candles? No, but it's cute. The crock, the layering piece here is thrifted. So I'm not going to continue to tell you all that through the video, but I just want to give you an example of how mixing retail and thrifted pieces can make just a beautiful, beautiful space. These little saucers or plates, I don't know what they are. They're little courier knives plates there. And I just put that glass pumpkin on top. I normally have like a little battery operated candle in that as well. But all of those that I have, the batteries are dead on them. So I've got to get some more of those. And then I took a retail runner from Hobby Lobby that I got at 90% off, might I say. So I paid like $1.90 for that. And then I took these thrifted pieces here. This is actually a thrifted napkin holder. And I took and put a couple of thrifted little cutting boards on it just to bring some warmth and just something different to the table here. I absolutely love how I got the table decorated for fall. And I hope that it gives you all the cozy fall vibes and inspiration and ideas that you might need to decorate maybe your table for fall 2025 as well. We're going to go to this little space over here right by the door. That's right where we came in over there a while ago. And I have this little camping oven that I got at Goodwill. And I decided to put my pumpkin pie plate that I got at Ross in there this year. You know, it is a camping oven. So I wanted it to look as if something was in there baking or cooking like a pie. I just think that turned out really cute. So right here I just have a restaurant ware plate, a little crock, and a little nightlight. I love these little bulbs. They have the very primitive look to them. And I just keep it pretty simple over here because I need this countertop space to dry dishes. Like I do have a dishwasher, but a lot of things I like to hand wash. And so I definitely need the counter space to lay like a drying mat and do that. Here's what I've done with the windowsill, just some very neutral pieces. Again, a lot of thrifted and then adding in some retail pieces just to make it all work together. This big pumpkin here I kind of have layered with this piece here. I got it Goodwill years ago. I got this recently and I forgot to show it in my haul. I had already had it up here and I just forgot to show y'all. So I did get this big cutting board this year at Hobby Lobby, and it's, I guess you would use it for like a big charcuterie board or something like that. I think it's so pretty layered up here. And then this pumpkin I got last year at Hobby Lobby when they had 90% off. So I just kind of layered all three of these pieces here together. That light's kind of in your way, I know, but that's just what that looks like there. And then a couple more, you know, secondhand pieces over here, one holding the plant and things like that. And then I like to keep my cast iron skillets up here. I think they look nice with the black, and I actually use those, so it's handy for me to grab. So yeah, here's just kind of what I did in the windowsill. I love decorating my little windowsill because I spend a lot of time here. I don't really have curtains or put curtains up here, just because we do have a lot of privacy back there. There's like no one that lives behind us. And so this kind of acts as a curtain for me. Y'all would be surprised at the questions that I get about this piece right here. People ask me, am I trying to hide something? Like, why is that up there? No, I'm not trying to hide anything. I show y'all clips of all my house all the time, but that kind of acts as like a little curtain for me, I guess, if you will. But yeah, and I also like how it looks. So this little area I think is super sweet, and I love that. Nothing exciting over here happening, but I do want to tell you that if you want some of the most amazing fresh and fall cleaner smell, get you some of this. I found this at, where did I find it? Lowe's. So I haven't found this anywhere else, but I found this at Lowe's. It's about $5, but the apple cider Mrs. Meyer's all-purpose spray cleaner is the best. The best. Okay, there's not a whole lot of change or anything really different like for fall happening over here. There is something that I did do over here that is different. So this used to be on top of my hutch. I made that over, I think, last Christmas, and put these little knobs on it. This thing was like a very bright orange and yellow, and it was just horribly ugly. So I gave this a makeover. I gave this a makeover, added the knobs. I put the little light behind it. You kind of see it peeking out there, and moved my mixer to underneath the cabinet. So I really like how this looks over here. This just kind of stays the same usually. So I will say the only really like fall thing that I did over in this area is I added these little wooden spoons with the pumpkin on the handle here, and that gives just a very subtle touch of fall over here without overdoing it. Right above, I just have a black basket that I like to keep up there. Sometimes if I'm needing to go back to my other pantry, I will take this off, grab it, and I will go get like a few of the ingredients that I need, like tomato sauce and tomato paste and all that for spaghetti or something like that. So not only is it beautiful up there, but it does help me gather things when I need it. Okay, and just coming straight across from where we were, there's the black basket up there. I keep this little shelf here above my stove. I just love to have it there. It is so cute. So many people tell me that they would have never thought to do that, and that they have all went and added little shelves above their stovetop like I did, and that makes my heart so happy to hear y'all getting ideas and all the things. So if you have an empty space above your stovetop like I did, and you just couldn't figure out what to do with it, maybe putting a little thrifted shelf is just what you need as well. And again, this is just a lot of stuff that I already had. I have these Crocs that I mean, they just blend right in with fall. I normally keep a lot of these out all year long anyway. I've moved salt and pepper up here. I have a piece of ironstone. This is from Hearth and Hand line at Target. I like to have that up here. And then what I did here is I took one of these little glass pumpkins from Hobby Lobby. They are very inexpensive. And I added a lot of my tiny baby little vintage salt and pepper shakers in there. And I think that turned out really, really cute. And on the other side of, so this is our microwave above the stove, is just another like bread basket back there. It's like a long one, and it just hangs on the wall back there and gives just a touch of that black color that I've been trying to bring into my kitchen for a while now. And it matches like, almost like the basket on the other side. I'll step back in a little while and kind of do a pan around of everything, so you can kind of see how it all flows and blends together. I just keep a simple copper kettle. Speaks for itself. It's beautiful, and I really don't need anything else up there right now. I did have a candle and a bunch of other stuff, and I just found that it was getting in my way, so I had to move a lot of that. There's a knife set over in the corner. I'm at a weird angle right now because there is a very bad shadow. I like to keep our farm fresh eggs in this Pampered Chef loaf pan because it fits perfectly right here. I was keeping them in a bowl like over here by the tea kettle and stuff, but I found when I was cooking and stuff, the eggs were just getting, I felt like they were getting too hot. So I just leave them right here. In case you're wondering, we have 20 chickens and we have farm fresh eggs, and it is completely fine to leave them out room temperature for, I believe, at least up to a week. So, and this one is a huge double yolker that my husband picked up last night. That is so cool. I put a Thrifted ironstone little platter, hung it up. You can see all of that beautiful staining on that. I love that. And it's got the beautiful brown colors, perfect for fall. I took a retail Hobby Lobby wreath, hung that underneath there to give, more fall colors. And then I took some Hobby Lobby little foam pumpkins and put them in a thrifted basket. And the reason I say it like that is just to show you how you can mix, again, thrifted and retail items and just make them blend beautifully together. I have this little amber glass butter dish down here. I think that this is just the sweetest thing. And yes, we do keep butter out room temperature. We go through it fast enough that it's not going to spoil or make anybody sick. It never has, so we're all good. So yeah, this is kind of what this side of the kitchen looks like just from a distance here. Okay, and kind of moving along around to the other side of the oven. I did hang up one of those little fall towels. Everybody told me how much they really liked them. I wasn't loving them, but y'all were all like, oh my goodness, they're so pretty. So I didn't want to go buy another one, so I just hung this one up. Okay, so up here is where I keep like all of my baking, like cinnamon, not all my baking stuff, but like all of my cinnamon, baking soda, baking powder. And I just took and made like a little curtain up here instead of having all cabinets, and I just did that with this material here just to kind of give the look that I want. So I love that. And then over here all I have is just some copper pans that I've thrifted every one of these, and they all have the beautiful brass handles. So that's what I look for now when I'm looking for copper pieces. I want it to have the brass handles. So, and these all do. And what's funny is I bought all of these at different times, or maybe I bought two of them together and the other one separate, but they all look like they go together, don't they? So pretty. I love these against that white wall. Onto the countertop over here, and this is where I do have a little more decor, because this countertop here is really, I don't use it for a lot of chopping or preparing or cooking or anything like that. The most I might use this thing here for is for serving. So I do have a little bit more decor over here. Just took it's either antique or it's a vintage for sure, or it could be antique. And it hasn't been too terribly long since I picked this up, but I took this sifter and I put some hydrangeas in there from Hobby Lobby. And I think that looks so pretty. Then I have that little chalkboard back there, little daily reminder blackboard. I was going to put some ribbon through those holes at the top, but I felt like it was maybe overkill. Yeah, I don't know. I just really like the tone of that wood and the black just kind of as the backdrop for this other stuff over here in this corner. It's got the height that I like and all the things. And this little lamp, or this little nightlight, yeah, it's a little lamp with the pleated shade. How cute is that, y'all? I got that at Target very recent for only $10. And this has worked out so pretty over here in this corner, especially at night when I have all the big lights off and I have, excuse me, all of my little ones going. I love that. So if you are a girl who loves a very soft light look in your kitchen after you've kind of closed it down, but you still, want to have some low light going in there, go to Target and see if they have these. $10. They're the perfect size. Our bread box that I made over, and we actually do use this for bread. So I don't have anything on top of it just because I felt like with all of the other decor I had going on around it, putting something on top of it was just too much, if there is such a thing. But yeah, so I left the top empty there, and I love how this spot looks over here. This is the piece that I just got at the antique store, and the baby little pears that I just got at the antique store. And how beautiful do these look together. I love that look right there. Just have that sitting over here with some amber glass canisters that I got. I got these on clearance one year at Target. They are the Hearth and Ham, but I got them for like 75% off one year at Target. Just some dried florals. A thrifted tray back there that I hung up. I said I wasn't going to say thrifted all throughout, but I can't help it, y'all. Like, there's something just tells me to let y'all know where some of this stuff is from. And then I got this here just sitting on a couple books, and I just love how all of these colors go together, and it is just a fall palette here for me without having all of the, I don't want to say pumpkins, because so many people do love pumpkins, and I don't want to make it sound like pumpkins are a bad thing, but for me, I'm not ready for pumpkins. And so this helps me start to bring in and get that fall look that I want without bringing in a lot of pumpkins, because I do like pumpkins, and I am going to have them in some of my fall decor. But just in my kitchen right now, I've only got like a couple spots where I've got pumpkins. This is like my favorite spot as far as the colors go right here. And then over here in this bowl, I took these pears that I didn't thrift these. I took these pears that I got at Hobby Lobby that look so realistic and put them in this bowl that I did thrift with just a couple of those extra towels, just trying to kind of bring in a little bit of that fall color behind those pears and help kind of lift them up, because I also put some of those pears in this piece here. I love this up here on my bar. There's something about the colors again that I also love. And I just think that my bar here on the top looks very clean, and I don't have near as much stuff as I usually do, just because I wanted this just to be able to show off for itself. I love this right here. And then back over here, this is pretty much the same. I've kind of had this here for a while, but I did add this little wire chicken with some of these tiny little baby pumpkins in there. I just think that's really cute. And I love how that's kind of like open and airy except for where the pumpkins are, so it just don't feel too heavy for me up there. So here's a look at some of the things we just looked at, but a far back kind of view, I guess, so you can see what it looks like, you know, when you're not just standing right on top of it. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail too much on this spot here because I did just post this in my last Friday's thrifting video, and we decorated this together and talked about this together in that video, but I will just give you a quick little overview of this spot just in case you did miss that video. I do encourage you to go back and watch that though, because you can see some before clips of this table and all the things. So like I said, we're not going to spend a lot of time there just because we went over that in depth in that video. I've also did a whole dedicated video to this hutch, so I'm not going to go in detail on this either, but I did want to show y'all what I added. So when I did that video, I did not have these little saucer plates here hung on the side of the hutch, so I have added those recently. This just gives, I don't know, a little something something over here on the side of the hutch, that little fall look, I guess you could say. I got those last year or year before, I think at a Goodwill, and I just think it gives a nice little touch there. So something that I did do different from the original video that I posted about the hutch is I kind of scooted all the Wexford pieces down. I took the big thing of flour and put it down in one of the cabinets underneath because it's bread flour and I don't use it as often as I do my all-purpose flour. And then I added these thermoses, and I think this helps give it a little more color for fall. And it's in the kitchen. It makes sense that it's in the hutch. You want to grab it out, make, you know, send it in your lunch, whatever your thermos needs are. But I just think that that looks really cute in there, and that it made more sense for those to be in there versus that big gallon of bread flour that I'm not using right now. It is just so hot. I don't want to be baking bread right now. I'll probably be doing that more in the fall when it is actually really fall and cold, and or cool at least. But yeah, what do y'all think? I did add these here. And then just very briefly, this is what it looks like on the top of my hutch, in case you missed it. And then what each shelf looks like. I will show it very quickly, just in case you are someone who watches all of my videos. I don't want to be very repetitive. Oh, I did add those little blue cups that I got at Goodwill not too long ago, just because I love those. So yeah, that's the hutch. And here's what I got going on the top of my fridge. I did change a couple things up here. I think the only thing that is really the same is the radio, but I did take and put my big blue and white crock that normally sits here. It's in another room, and I brought this that I used to use for my fruit, and I just put it up there, this big pitcher, and I put the plant that was in the other big crock in this brass pot here. Because it's fall, I think it just makes more sense, and it looks better with that two-tiered tray thing that I got going on there. So that's all I did there on top of the fridge, in case you are looking for some top of fridge decorating ideas. I don't have cabinets or anything above my refrigerator, so it's really easy for me to add some decor up there. So now we are on the other side of the refrigerator, and I just put a fall wreath over here, just something very simple. So I did not change the picture or anything over here. I love this picture so much that this is just going to be its home for now. I love that. Plus it kind of has a fall look to it, even though it's, you know, the trees and all are really springy. The age of it, I think, helps it blend into all seasons, honestly. Now I did add this amber glass canister over here that I did wash, but I still need to put my ground coffee in. I just have not done that, but that's where that's going to go. And then I added these little pumpkin spoons, little pumpkin wooden spoons that I got at Hobby Lobby, in this little thrifted ironstone pitcher. And then I also added this brown crock over here and these fall hydrangeas, just to kind of get, you know, a little touch of fall over here. But really everything else over here is just like the normal stuff that I was having over here. Really didn't do anything else fall-ish over here. Anyway, yes, this is how I have decorated my little country kitchen for fall, and I love it. I'm happy with it. I don't really see me putting anything else in here out for fall or changing too much in here, unless I just come across something that I can't live without. But I love how I have the different little lights distributed around. The little candles, that's one of my favorite. And when all of the big lights are off and the sun is down, like I said, all of these little night lights and little lamps that I have throughout just really make it look so cozy in here, and you just want to curl up by a fireplace, even though we can't do that right now because it is still hot here in Texas. But hopefully this gives you some good ideas and some inspiration, and maybe just some information on where you can purchase some of these things. A lot of the things that I talked about that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, they still have a lot of these things, even though I got them like last year and years past. I know that Target still has these stems, and of course they still have these candles, because I do believe those are new this year. But anyway, yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed seeing how I have decorated for fall 2025. We hope y'all have a wonderful evening. We love y'all, and I'll see you really soon with a brand new video.